how to find and serve your audience chips. We'll get to why chips in a bit. So the news media business. Let's just say there are a few problems here. There's a bit of a square peg in a round hole kind of problem. And I think that we've been trying to play catch up over the last couple of decades. And the biggest mistake that we've been making, the biggest assumption that we've made, I think, is that there is a capital A audience, that there is one single audience, and it is this audience that we speak to. We find ourselves saying things like, young people like this, and older people like that. So we create content around that assumption. And we call it, quite often we call it journalism that matters, or we call it news that matters. And then we distribute it on social platforms that have started deprioritizing this thing that we think should matter. But what if we're in actually the chips business? Roll with me for a bit. I mean, we did talk about snacks previously. So, but here's what you're saying to your audiences, right? Audiences and users. You're saying, we make chips. You must eat my chips. We make the best chips. My chips are good for you. Sounds familiar? You've heard someone talk like that? So that's mainstream, mass-based journalism, the journalism that speaks to an audience with a capital A. But what we don't realize is we're making this one kind of brand of chips, one flavor, which is called journalism chips. It kind of looks like this. Kind of delicious, huh? But we've got this other opportunity going on. This opportunity says we can get specific, we can get niche, we can get really engaged audiences, we can meet a need, we don't have to create a need. Because we're serving an audience of one. Of course, if you're media gen AI, or you're creating the endless media sandwich, you can create journalism any way, or media any way you want, in any format, any voice, any race, any whatever. But also, you can do this at scale. And you're doing it for an audience of one at scale because every single iteration is personalized. How do you match that? So the future of media that we keep talking about isn't AI. It isn't about content or supply or ads. What if it's already here? What if it's user-centered? What if it's driven by demand? What if it's based around the user's interest? What if we can make a flavor of chips that creates viable media that speaks to, that solves specific user problems? We're still making these chips because it's a mythical mass audience, right? What if we're building this endless supply of content, but we're not basing that supply around demand? What if there isn't product market fit? Let's go to the real chips people. How many flavors of Pringles do you think there are? Seriously? I mean, it's nuts, right? But here's why. What if every single flavor answers a specific user need? It solves a specific user problem. These guys solve user problems, what I call semi-evil companies. User rentals. I just want to get home in the rain without haggling for change. I didn't want to buy the whole album. I wanted 3 songs. And wait a minute, this Airbnb thing means I can stay in weirdos' houses and actually afford to travel. So it's not about the tech disruption that we keep talking about. I'm literally out of time. I have like 2 more. The biggest threat, the biggest disruption is we're not giving people what they want because we're not asking them what they want. I'm talking about niche, but I'm saying niche is not small. Niche is specific. We learn about specificity. What chips flavor are you creating in your media startup? Who are you creating this for? Ask people what chips they want. Give people the chips they want. People want specific flavors. Nobody eats generic chips. Nobody wants generic media. People want flavors. Nobody wants the same damn chips.